it is now very clear that government cannot give jobs.
Because without a strong family unit, the community can't grow. And the community can't grow, your business can't grow. It's as simple as that.
Challenges since those days were basically market access. Yes, funding is very much big.
40% of the population of Meghalaya is in the age group of 15 to 35. 40%. Where will they go?
People are like diving into entrepreneurship as they see like that is a source of income for running the family.
So a very good afternoon and a very warm welcome to day 2 of 8isONE Meghalaya chapter. It is a 2-day cultural festival organized by Meghalaya Group and conceptualized by Northeast Integration Rally. This event is being held here at Meghalaya Resort in Umtro village in Ribhoi district. And as part of this event, we are organizing a dialogue session, a space for open discussion where ideas, experiences, and perspectives on our beautiful state and the Northeast as a whole will come together for shared learning and reflection. And today's topic of discussion will be on the growth of entrepreneurship in the state of Meghalaya and the Northeast as a whole. As you all know, that entrepreneurship has emerged as one of the strongest drivers of economic growth, employment, and innovation. In Meghalaya and across the Northeast, we are witnessing a growing spirit of enterprise rooted in local culture, in local resources, in agriculture, tourism, and digital innovation. But at the same time, the Northeast, in particular Meghalaya, face unique challenges: limited infrastructure, access to market, and as well as access to finance and different other challenges. So in today's session, we are going to explore how we can improve the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the Northeast to help our young entrepreneurs to build the nation. So I am honored to be in the midst of an outstanding panel of experts, and they bring together different perspectives. I would like to introduce them to you. On my left, we have Gerald Duya, a young entrepreneur and founder of Duya Trailblazers. We also have Mr. Biswadeep Gupta, who is a founder of the Northeast Integration Rally. We also have Zorba Z. Lalu Karkolni, a seasoned and prominent entrepreneur from Meghalaya. We also have Dr. Benjamin Lingdo, who is an associate professor in the Department of Tourism, Northeastern Hill University. And we also welcome Vicky Lanong, who is representing Prime Meghalaya. So I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this panel discussion, and thank you for sparing your time to be here with us and to talk about this important issue. We will all will start with an opening remark from each one of you, and if you can make your remarks, opening remarks, brief. We'll talk about. Let's first start talking about your view and how you see entrepreneurship. The ecosystem growing in the state of Meghalaya and Northeast as a whole. How has it grown over the years? If you can just take maybe like say 5 or 10 years. Has it shown any improvement, and whether there are any changes that you have seen over the years? We'll start with Gerald.
Thank you, Kong, for that introduction and for inviting me here. So, well, in looking back at Meghalaya, I'll just give an example in the field of tourism. Back then, we do not have any. I mean, there were very less professional guides. There were very less tour operators. But if you look at it now, because it is a boom, like people have known Meghalaya through the social media, the digital platform, and all these other platforms. It has grown a lot. You can see that back then there were very less accommodation units, but now you're seeing people have started to come up with homestays, come up with to take a loan for buying a vehicle for tourists, to ferry the tourists and all. And so I think so it's starting. It's booming, it's growing on. And in terms of Northeast, I think so. Meghalaya is doing really nice, really good in terms of entrepreneurship, because with the support from various departments as well. And in terms of Northeast, other states, I'm not sure, but I think so they're growing. Like Arunachal also is growing. Lots of entrepreneurs are starting their own businesses in the field of tourism, food processing. Same thing like Nagaland and other states. So I think it's growing. It is growing.
Okay, what about you, Mr. Gupta? Because we know that you're also a journalist by profession. How I believe you have done many stories on the entrepreneurship and young entrepreneurs in the Northeast. How do you see the growth of entrepreneurship in the Northeast?
Thank you, ma'am, for having me here. I have extensively traveled because of my professional requirement across Northeast, and what I am able to see in most of the states, particularly in Nagaland, Manipur, Tripura, even in my home place, Barak Valley, it is now very clear that government cannot give jobs, and government has been coming forward and talking to the young generation also directly, accepting that the government is not in a position to give jobs. So the alternative, when I see lots of young boys and girls who got highly qualified, highly talented, and opening up a shop, maybe it's a small restaurant. If you go to nook and corner of Nagaland, lots of young boys and girls are opening up bakeries, shops, some eateries. So this is a good sign. I find it very big step. A revolution is coming where it is good to be educated, but there is no harm to give employment to others. And that mindset is slowly chipping in. And many people who have been working across the ecosystem, many corporate guys are also coming back and contributing in many fields like agriculture and setting up ecotourism, setting up during our Northeast Integration Rally, we went and stayed in a homestay in Jakama, where this guy has done wonderful work outside, but because of his family requirement, he came and set up a fantastic place. So this gives an inspiration and understanding that our young boys and girls are coming forward and doing things across. Tripura is also leading in terms of entrepreneurial mindset. The state is booming. I mean, similarly, I see with this Manipur, many people are innovating. The Manipur economy is down. People are trying to build it up. Nagaland, yes. Meghalaya, I have not done much of extensive this thing, but of course Meghalaya has been leading in tourism from decades. So definitely Meghalaya has more opportunities, and Meghalaya being the very nearest to Guwahati, Shillong, I understand Meghalaya has a huge potential. Yes, what your opening remark you said talked about availability of finance and all. These are political leaderships. You have a good government, good leadership, and I think government of India should also be focusing on Meghalaya. That's what is my understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're going to talk a little bit more in detail about the access to market or access to finance a little later. I'll come to Bazorba. Bazorba, you've been in the profession for a very long time. How do you see, according to you, has entrepreneurship grow in the if you look at access to the market connectivity? How would you compare maybe like say 10 years and now?
Kongiban, thank you so much for having me here for the talk. Specifically to your question, entrepreneurship has grown, yes. But I don't think it is something that either from us in our states or from the government departments or even us in the private sector, we need to be patting ourselves on the back. We have huge unemployment. We have huge illiteracy rates which are growing. These numbers are out recently in a few years, and those of us from the state, we know the condition. So many people getting into entrepreneurship, or rather starting a small business, let's a bit more simply call it, is out of necessity. It's not because they've had some brainwave. You know, if one can't find a job, one will try and do something else. I think one of the things, I don't know how many people would agree with me, but our Northeast communities are exactly that. We are communities. We are families. We are intertwined. We know each other, and therefore we work with each other. So I think one of the things, there is a big gap we talk about entrepreneurship as a separate phenomenon, but I think we have to remember sometimes what this Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman had said, is that when we start thinking of economics as people rather than agents of change or market-driven things, and we don't assign pure dead statistical numbers to things, we look at it from a much more human perspective, then we start making sense of what we're looking at. So here in the Northeast and here in Meghalaya, one thing that is happening is that our community-driven networks, these are declining. And it starts from home. Our family systems in Meghalaya are also declining. We have a huge number of single parents, huge number of people who are, they don't have a father or don't have a mother, and that's huge. We maybe those of us that are watching this or sitting here are not from that perspective, but in our organization where we do employ a lot, we try and make it a point to try and employ single working mothers, and maybe 90% of the women that are working with us are single moms. Now, how does a single mom raise a child without a father, pay the rent, pay the bills, think of the children's future, etc., so on and so forth? So one of the things that we have to think of in our state very importantly, and then in the Northeast as a whole, is this concept of family. Because without a strong family unit, the community can't grow. And the community can't grow, your business can't grow. It's as simple as that. So I think that's something that, that is in the past recent years that has been hitting me quite heavily, which I spend a lot of time thinking about and trying to wonder how do we do this as a Northeastern community and as families.
Exactly. You rightly pointed out that the community need to thrive. I'll come to Dr. Benjamin. Dr. Benjamin, you have written extensively on entrepreneurship in the state of Meghalaya and the Northeast, and just recently you also wrote one article on this. And I just wanted your opening remark on this. So, according to you, what is the current state of entrepreneurship in the region?
See, as far as the northeastern region is concerned, according to latest statistics under MSME, micro, small and medium enterprises, I was checking this maybe a few weeks back, we have around 19 lakh entrepreneurs, we can say, or enterprises in the northeastern region as a whole. But more than 60% is confined to Assam. Obviously, a bigger state, bigger market. And then the other states, we share a smaller number as far as the number of entrepreneurs or enterprises are concerned. And if you look at the statistics given by Startup India, which is something important because enterprises on the Startup India are supposed to be innovative enterprises. Like what Ba said just now, we start out of necessity, not because we are innovative. For Northeastern region, the number is very small. There are only around 900 entrepreneurs in the entire Northeastern region under the Startup India portal, which are recognized by DPIIT. This is Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Out of that 900, this is 2023 statistics that they have floated in the portal. Almost out of that 900, almost 640 are from Assam alone. Then follow smaller states like Meghalaya with 87 and Manipur with somewhere in the 80s. Similarly, Tripura and Nagaland, they're also coming up. So if you talk about the region and you talk about Meghalaya over here, I think we still have a long way to go. Now, if you look at this number, we have around 19 lakh enterprises, entrepreneurs here in the northeastern region. But if you look at, I was just comparing with the national figure, this 19 lakh is just 1.6% of the national numbers that we have. So that tells us that although we are trying hard in terms of the ecosystem, but we have a very long way to go. Especially a state like Meghalaya, we really have a very, very long way to go. The government is trying hard with Prime, with CM Elevate, and many other schemes have come up for startups and all that. But 90% of these enterprises that we have over here are all micro enterprises. When I say here, I mean the entire northeastern region. Micro means your investment in plant and machinery in the manufacturing sector and equipment in the service sector is less than 2.5 crore. and your turnover per annum is less than 10 crore. Now, if you look around, you will find 99% of these enterprises are all micro enterprises. Now, what happens over here when we look in terms of the ecosystem? Micro enterprises can hardly employ a few people, and we cannot have big corporates also coming here in Meghalaya. Assam is a different story, but in terms of Meghalaya, we don't have big corporates coming here. So you don't have two sides of the spectrum, and something is missing in the middle, the small enterprise. And small enterprises are actually the enterprises which can employ people. Big ones we cannot have, small ones can employ very few. We need small enterprises. And I'll just close with this for the economic opening remark. According to the government of India, again MSME, the ministry, they say that the current definition which was effective from 1st April 2025, if your investment is less than 25 crore, you are classified as a small enterprise, and your turnover is less than 100 crore. This is how it is related with Startup India also. Everything is streamlined in a proper way. So that way the government is both at the center and the state, they are doing a terrific job in terms of the legal definition and the frameworks that they have. But here lies the problem. If you look around Shillong or even Meghalaya and even entire Northeast, 99% are micro enterprises. They cannot employ. So what I am looking at right now is this sort of mindset where people will come together and form private companies, come together and form small enterprises, invest more than 2.5 crore. You cannot do that alone. You have to be cooperative. You must have this mindset, which sadly to say, amongst tribal communities, we do not have too much of that. But what is missing is that they are looking only at micro enterprises. We should start looking now at small enterprises. That is where it will become a game changer.
Thank you, Dr. Benjamin. We understand that Northeast has a potential, but we need to think differently. I'll come to Bhaviki. Bhaviki, we know that, like Dr. Benjamin had mentioned, that the government of India and the government of Meghalaya both are doing, are putting in efforts to promote entrepreneurship in the region and the state. So if you look at the growth of entrepreneurship in Meghalaya, how would you say, like, how far has it come? Because I believe Prime has been here for over 5 years now, 6 years now. So if you do a comparison before Prime came into the picture and now that Prime has come in and has given training to all of these young aspiring entrepreneurs, have you seen any changes?
First of all, thank you for inviting me for today. Yes, we have seen a very growth in the entrepreneurship. First, we used to receive very less application. Now with the challenges coming up like CMECC, recently we had around more than 4,000 applications. So when at first we started around 800 to 1,200. Now with this recent application, numbers have increased. So, and also with these young aspiring, they used to come and visit Prime and all, looking for support and all. So we have so many walk-ins too. So we support them with various with various things, maybe they need training and all. We do provide them that too. And with the immense of entrepreneurship growing very fast, I think so many people are diverting here, and they see Prime as one of the major factors that can support them. So also students from various colleges, we have many young and thriving entrepreneurs. We have seen in many colleges and all participating in various competition, and they are doing well. And it's just they need a momentum to grow, where they can get some mentor supports and all to guide them, to support them, and show them the right direction. All basically, yeah, funding is one of the main source, but with some mentorship support and Prime being one of the main factor who can guide them in many ways, because we have various sectors who look after the entrepreneurs. So one thing that we have seen in couple 3-4 years, numbers have increased, and people are diving into entrepreneurship as they see that is a source of income for running the family. And also in the coming years, I think so it will grow, and they see Meghalaya as one of the best ecosystem that really can grow in the entire Northeast.
Thank you, Bhaviki. That's an interesting point that was raised by one of our panelists, Zorba, where he mentioned that most of our young people dived into entrepreneurship not because they have like some kind of an innovative idea, but it usually out of necessity. So I would like to direct the question to Gerald. So Gerald, when you had this idea of starting your own venture, uh, how would you say are the different challenges that you face? Because we understand that finance is one, and maybe support. It could be family support or maybe community support is another. What are the different challenges that you face when you started your venture as a young entrepreneur?
First of all, back in the days, like I said, nobody knows about tourism, I must say. Even I studied tourism. I did not expect that I will be venturing in this business. But yeah, the challenges since those days were basically market access. Yes, funding is very much because we are more into eco tours, eco rural culture and heritage and adventure tours that we do. So to engage people, to engage our customers, our guests in various adventure activities, we had to invest in a lot of equipments. And I think so Bazorba will agree with me. Adventure equipments are very expensive because we cannot compromise on quality. So main thing is the funding and the market access. And other than that, when I started, we did not know how to go about, where to get our clients, where to get the digital marketing, the marketing platforms, and and the other aspects of growing our business. But it was most of these things are self-taught, and we just learn because we just somehow do the work. So those were the challenges that we faced.
Thank you, Gerald. Since you talked about the problems and the challenges that you face when it comes to funding and market access, I am going to ask this question to Zorba because they're both a seasoned entrepreneur and a young entrepreneur. So Zorba, when you started off, how important do you think market availability and the issue of scalability, how important are they for entrepreneurs to grow their business?
To grow, I think we have to split that word up into several components. First is you have to exist, and then after you exist, and it's irrelevant whether it's Gerald, who is just starting off as the first generation. I'm from a third generation. But each generation you have to validate your own existence in your business. Why are you even there? Does it even need you? So first is you have to stabilize yourself. What are you doing there? Are you bringing any improvements? And you bringing any value addition to the table? That's the first thing. Secondly, the business has to make sense in the local market first, or whichever is your target market. It has to make sense. Then after that, and only after that, does the word grow actually come. Because the teething problems and the difficulties of year 1, year 2, year 3, these are all different, and they're not the same problems that you will face. So each problem in year upon year of operation, it always changes, and season upon season. So I think when we, like this word, no, entrepreneurship, like sometimes I have a problem with it because it becomes very fancy. It's like this magic mushroom that we are supposed to eat, no, in the Northeast, but then suddenly our problems will disappear. But it's not. We have to learn how to be diligent. That's the first thing. Second thing, we have to understand how to learn finances, how to invest our money, how to spend our money. So there are many, I don't know, I think Dr. Benjamin will, since he's in the line of teaching people, and also Vicky, who's in the line of mentoring people through Prime, I think that is one of the biggest problems, even for myself. I mean, I don't think of myself as anybody great. We are also constantly always having problems when it comes to things like this, like growth and starting off, because from that initial period of starting to actually doing better and then taking it off, that curve is not linear, and neither is it a simple curve. And there's a lot of things in the background, like our tribal communities, our people. We have to learn these things, which we still don't know yet. Work ethics have to change. Ability to think on our feet has to change. Ability to be able to handle different tours, different clients has to change. I think in that respect, Gerald will have a lot of knowledge, because people coming from different parts of the country, different attitudes, different cultures. So there's these things, like, that it sometimes feels from the overview that we have one solution, but on the ground, everything is very, very different and is very complex sometimes.
So we understand that there are multiple and critical factors that are involved, when you think about building a sustainable business. I'll come to Mr. Gupta. So when we talk about sustainable business, because there's a lot of emphasis being laid on sustainable development and sustainable goals. So how would you say, because now when we talk about Meghalaya, there's a lot of emphasis being laid on tourism. But when we talk about sustainable tourism, while we appreciate the beauty of nature, at the same time we also have to make sure that the policy that we bring forward are sustainable. But do you think they translate into action whatever is being mentioned in the policy or maybe written in paper looks fancy on paper?
I would say two things. First, we have to come out of the subsidy mindset. In Northeast, we go into a business to get subsidy. That mindset has to come out. Secondly, the PCO mentality, which I say. You open one PCO, which we saw in those days, multiple PCOs came in the same place. So this sustainability as well as taking care of our nature, there should be a policy, okay, this many. If you go to any Assam place, I've been driving a lot across Northeast, particularly in Assam. Not a single town is there where we are hogged by these e-rickshaws. You cannot walk. More e-rickshaws are there than people. So this mindset change, paradigm change should come. What we need to tell our young people is that a business, if it survives 8 years, that's what other writers and statistics, then only the business will grow. Most of the business, 80% of the business get killed below 8 years and it vanishes. So a business is a serious work. I mean, we all are looking for a job, but when somebody tries to start a business, he should first understand what my brother has said, that we need to learn finances. If you're starting a business, you got a loan, the first thing you should not do is buy a new car. I mean, that's something which our mindset is there. So lifestyle, which we in Northeast is having, is a comfortable lifestyle. We need to tell our young boys and girls to go to the discomfort level. Business is about numbers, and most importantly, which we have been promoting in our Northeast Integration Rally. When you are in business, you lose your identity. You cannot have your identity politics coming into picture. So if you are into business, you need customers, and customers are king in business. You have to create business. As Peter Drucker said, there can be only one definition of business, and that is to create customer.
Correct.
So integration, having a mindset of absorbing everybody and everyone from all communities, all religion, that mindset should be there in the mind of an entrepreneur.
Inclusivity should be there. Like you mentioned about this mindset that we have, dependence on subsidy. I would like to direct the next question to Dr. Benjamin. Doctor, we understand because of the rise of unemployment and because of the fact that Meghalaya is not doing very well when it comes to opening our, embracing companies from outside to do business here. The ease of doing business in Meghalaya is very poor, and statistics says it all. So because of that, the government has come up with different schemes and different initiatives to encourage young people to take up, to become job givers rather than job seekers. So, but here lies the problem, which you had also mentioned in one of your articles, and which Mr. Gupta had also mentioned just now. We have that mindset of both the neng. We want to copy. If one starts a homestay, everybody will start homestay. If one starts a PCO, like you mentioned, everybody will start a PCO. How do we move out of that mindset?
Entrepreneurship is all about innovation. You have to innovate. And there are two types of innovation. One is a process innovation. The other is what we call a newness innovation or a new innovation. Just to drive home my point, you can think of television sets, right? Earlier we had those very old types of television sets, and then suddenly we had a flat screen TV. That was newness innovation. And then from a flat screen TV, then we started having smart TVs. That was process innovation. So in a process innovation, it's just like our mobile phone. Same mobile, but it becomes more powerful, faster, better batteries, better cameras, and all that. But the shape is the same. So that is process innovation. Now, I have no problem if person A starts a homestay and then person B starts a homestay, as long as person B does process innovation. A homestay is a homestay. Maybe you'll not be able to do new or newness innovation, but at least process innovation should be there. So as long as you do process innovation, I don't mind if in my locality I have 10 grocery shops, but all the 10 grocery shops in Nong Thmai are different, one way or the other. That is how we have to look at this entire issue. It's about creating innovative minds. It's about having this cognition, a thinking process where our young minds are trained to be innovative. Think of something new, ideate something, come with something. And then at the same time, you have to be willing to take risk to a certain extent. Entrepreneurship does not happen without taking risk. You have to take risk. And how you take a risk, that depends upon your threshold as far as your mindset and how you look at things and all that. And this is where we actually need to go back to the classroom. I have always been saying this many times in many platforms. Entrepreneurship can never be taught in the classroom. Entrepreneurship is actually, in truth, taught in the field, taught in the lab, taught in the workshop. In the classroom, we discuss concepts, we ideate, we discuss problems, we look for solutions, but the actual teaching, learning happens outside. The other very important factor about entrepreneurship is that how do we evaluate students as far as entrepreneurship is concerned? We evaluate them by making them write answer scripts at the end of the semester or sessional tests over the 1 year that we have. I think that is so wrong, because we have seen many examples, not only me as a teacher, but many teachers, we have seen examples where a student A can write an excellent answer on entrepreneurship and score 99%, but in practice is not able to do anything. On the other hand, you will have a student B who just passed with 40% or maybe even less, but today they are successful entrepreneurs because they are street smart. So this is where we have to change the entire mindset as to how we look at entrepreneurship. A discussion like this maybe will create some new awareness somewhere, right? And maybe they'll start thinking about this at policy level, right? But we have to move beyond this. Unless we do that, okay, we'll have lots of people who are out there looking for jobs and we have nothing to offer. 40% of the population of Meghalaya, this I checked last night, 40% of the population of Meghalaya is in the age group of 15 to 35. 40%. Where will they go? Right? That is why I said at the opening remark, Kong Iban, we have to move away from micro enterprise and start looking at investments in small enterprise. A massive shift is required, right from the classroom to the government to policy and what is happening on the ground.
Thank you, Ba. You point out correctly. Actually, I can pick only 2 points from whatever you had mentioned. Number one is the requirement to shift. We need a massive change from micro enterprise to small enterprise, and of course, the second one I can gather from whatever you'd spoken is the fact that there is a lot of lack of, what do you say, the financial literacy in our state among our people. So I'll come to Ba Vicky. In Prime, when you incubate these young entrepreneurs, there are different factors that you address. Number one is giving them financial literacy and how to go about networking, and besides other support systems that are there. But I wanted to ask you, aside from that, are you also do you also have any kind of a program or any kind of a training or a workshop to scale up, your approach or your method, like what Dr. Benjamin had mentioned, the need to move beyond and the need to think about employing more people, not just focusing on maybe an individual enterprise. It could be a small enterprise, like he mentioned. It can employ more people. Have you as a team thought about this to encourage more people, let's say as a community, to come together?
Yes, we used to conduct every like here and there like program not every month, like depending on the requirement. As like okay, one of the main aspect is finance. So we do have like programs like that where we teach them basic finance. For a new entrepreneur to start a business, if he doesn't have that idea, it's difficult for him. So we do give them all those trainings, and also we conduct workshop like different things for workshop. Like we do have that GST workshop, so where we support the entrepreneurs like in understanding how does GST work, because most of the people are afraid of sometimes hearing GST. They don't know the basic of it that much, so they feel like okay, GST might be a kind of burden to them. So we do conduct those types of workshop too. And also with regards to training, we have many trainings. We do collaborate with MSDS, and whenever these type of opportunities come, we do like call all these entrepreneurs and like help them or support them with all the training as per the requirement of the business sector.
So it's that means Prime Meghalaya, it caters to the young entrepreneurs who are just starting there.
No,
it's
not
like
only
startup.
young entrepreneurs, even like any entrepreneurs. Like
So now if you want to scale up and become like what he said, small enterprises, so we have the CM Elevate. So CM Elevate, does that, it caters to the small enterprise?
no, like there is a certain age. Everyone can apply. So there are certain criteria according to the form. You have to fill it up. Like it's only online. So there's a portal known as like Meghalaya 1. So people have to fill there, like have all these like filling of the registration forms and on filling all those DPR and all. And basic on the scrutinizing of the form, they will be like called for various further process. So there's no age at beyond, like for like maybe a woman also can apply, young and aspiring in the age of 30 to 40, they become an entrepreneur. So what we can say is like, it's not we are looking for aspiring entrepreneurs. Anyone can become an entrepreneur. So they, based on the idea, if they come to Prime, we like support them in various ways. We guide them, like listening. First, we have to listen to the ideas. What are the ideas? So based on the ideas, we guide them.
So, like you said, anyone can become an entrepreneur, but it's very difficult to sustain as an entrepreneur. Do you have any kind of a mechanism where you review the performances of these
we do
people?
that because like we have these mentorship. So mentor, like something like anyone who needs a mentor support. So we get all these data and necessary information from various sectors. And then we collate it and then add it and then see what are the requirements. Where is this person lacking behind? So what are the challenges that he's facing? So according to that, we link him to various mentors. So basis on the requirement and the availability, we schedule like these mentorship support. And that will be one-to-one mentoring session. So this is not only one-time program. This goes on like time by time. So that is one of the things like we do every time.
So there is frequent follow-up.
Yeah, every time frequent, yeah.
Okay. We understand that, like you mentioned earlier, the fear for GST.
Yeah.
What if my product, I have to pay GST, income tax, and all of that, which most of the tribals don't even think about when especially when you start a business or a private company. These are a few things that you have to keep in mind. So I'll direct my other question to Bajaral. Bajaral, we know you are in the adventure sports category, right? But according to you, in the state of Meghalaya, and in particular, and also the Northeast in general, we know that tourism is one of the driving factors. But other than that, what are the different sectors in the region that you see have huge potential for generating employment and also encouraging young people to join this entire ecosystem?
In my opinion, because we look at Meghalaya mostly as an agrarian society. So farming, agriculture is one of the major sector that most of our youths do not engage themselves, because there's something that we call dignity of labor. Like if you're a farmer, you look at something like very down like that. So I think so. Agriculture is one sector that can give employment to many. If we look at it, like we should not see it as a small sector, or maybe a small industry. We should look at it on a broad way, because from agriculture we can have many other products, like food processing, like dairy products, like spices and all. So I think so. In my opinion, agriculture is one of the major sector that we should look onto.
I do agree with you, considering the fact that Meghalaya is an agrarian state and that we have a huge potential in that area. But there is a need to encourage our youth to go back to their, to farming, because there are lots of innovative methods nowadays that is available. And I believe Prime is also doing, the government is also doing that. I mean, encouraging grassroots, entrepreneurship.
So I'll just add to that, like maybe in terms of agriculture, we should not look at it like from a traditional perspective. We should look at it as a scientific, in a scientific perspective, that it'll ease out farming methods. They will have more production, and more employment will be there. So I would say, that's my opinion.
It's encouraging young people to go back to farming. Like you mentioned, of course, there are many problems. I mean, when the young people come to the city to study, they don't want to go back to farming because they feel it's a tedious job and it's such hard work and all of that. So I think, like our speakers had mentioned, that there's a need for a shift or a change in the mindset of the people. I'll come to Mr. Gupta. So from a journalist point of view, how do you think, what role can a media play in fostering a sense of community participation? Because we know that, for an enterprise to grow, sometimes also we need the support of the community. What role can a media play in promoting entrepreneurship and also encouraging young people to take up innovative idea and to grow?
Oh, I mean, media can play a wonderful role. Something new. What is news? Something new. So if an entrepreneur is opening up a shop or a factory, why can't we write about that? And media can play the role of connecting the unconnected. Media can give information, share information, connect people with the most needed. And media can play a wonderful role in creating small communities. Most of the time, our job is to only highlight the bad news, comes in the first page, and the good news comes in the page 5. So we should also have a section. I mean, a media should have, editors should understand, the proprietor should understand that it's a service to your community. Most of the time, the problem is we can also educate that why banks are not giving loans to our entrepreneurs. The reason is NPA. In Northeast, we have the highest NPA, non-performing assets. Banks are not ready. Politicians are every day pushing the banks to give. I was in Arunachal Pradesh. Tapirgaon was talking to the state bank manager. Our farmers are complaining you are not giving loans. But the agriculture minister said we also will educate the farmer to pay back that loan on time. So this is the first challenge which we are talking about, availability of finance. There is no availability of finance subject to you have the community coming together to repay that finance back. So first mindset, no subsidy. Second mindset, financial literacy. So this can come only when parents' mindset, I should not celebrate my son's graduation degree, I should also celebrate my son has become a farmer. So what? It's dignity of labor. My son has opened up a grocery shop. So what? It's only the mindset of having a government job and then you will get a government this thing. This has already gone. Having this mindset will not work at the end of the day, because government has also said we cannot give jobs. So parents will also need to shift their mind. And there, I think we should have professors like Dr. Benjamin to write continuously, send it to the media, and media will pick it up.
Thank you. And Dr. Benjamin is an avid, he writes a lot. And you're correct that there is a need to change the mindset of even the parents. So, Zorba, we know that you're one of the successful entrepreneurs, if I may say, of the state and the region. And you have a big role also to play in mentoring the next generation of entrepreneurs. But then, like Mr. Gupta had mentioned, that parents are still stuck in that mindset, like we want our child to be government servants because there's security, and they will not think twice, before sending their student or their children to pursue higher education in different, maybe in a subject that they're not interested in. How do we bring about that change, that mindset change, especially among the parents?
Kong Iban, that's a very tricky one. Firstly, the first thing regarding related to your question is what Dr. Benjamin said. I did not know that statistic, and it's very scary. 40%, 15 to 35? 35. That's very, very scary. It's going back to the same thing that I was talking about earlier about family community, because if we as a society are not prepped from home, from the beginning, that you could be a doctor, you could be a shopkeeper, you could be a farmer, you can be anything. If that prep is not done from home, then the entire house of cards comes collapsing down. That's the first thing. Second thing, the point that I would like to add earlier, which is that broken homes, so basically things like social welfare, these have to be strengthened to build up our community in the first place. Now, this next generation of entrepreneurs, how to encourage them, how to grow them, I think there are various things to be involved, but as a person who comes from that kind of background, I think one thing that is interesting that has maybe yet to be explored more is to actually deal with these two gentlemen sitting here. Like Vicky is from a government, is from an organization that does this work, bring up entrepreneurs. Dr. Benjamin is teaching them. So I think it's very, very crucial at this point of time for these categories of people, including ours and including Gerald's, to sit down and start ideating how do we look at the crop that we already have. For example, the best people I think that should be taught entrepreneurship and things like that are not fresh students right now, are the people who are working already for people like us. The waitress in our restaurant, they're already on the street. They already have street smarts. They already know how to deal with customers. They know all these things. Now that person, how do we teach that person to start up a 1 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 20 lakh little job, because that person can pull it off. They've already spent time on the ground. Nothing is theoretical anymore, and they need that job. So then, therefore, you're growing this little community. You're growing this little ecosystem of whether it be food or production or agriculture or adventure tourism or anything it is. And also the other thing that we have to do as a society, which we have not touched upon in this discussion right now, is upskilling. For example, the chief minister of our neighboring state, I had attended a talk some time ago, and he was talking about semiconductors in Assam. Great. Here in Meghalaya, we can't even weld stainless steel yet as a community. Maybe there's 1-2 people that can weld stainless steel. We can't even weld stainless steel. Every single restaurant, hospital, catering joint is supposed to use stainless steel tables, shelves, chairs. Where do we get all of that from? It comes from Assam. Nothing wrong with it coming from Assam. But stainless steel welding is not rocket science, no. We should be doing that stuff ourselves, right? So things like that, and these are multi-crore businesses. For example, in relation to that, the Assam manufacturing units that make stainless steel tables and shelves and all that, their production units are so big, they outperform Delhi manufacturing units, and they're currently supplying Africa. That's how big those units are. So these are in the triple digit crore category. And that's our neighbor.
We need to borrow some ideas from Assam, from
and everywhere
manufacturers
else.
from Assam and other parts of this country. Dr. Benjamin, I'll come to you now. Would you say that the current curriculum that we're following right now in the university, does it really help our student or support them, really prepare them, making them ready for the real world?
See, we need young minds who are critical thinkers. This system of just learning something and then writing in exams and getting marks and then start just going out into the market and looking for jobs, that I think the entire process has to change, and it has to change from right from school. We need people who should become critical thinkers. Unless we do that, we will not have this crop of human resources who can contribute to the state and the country and the global economy as a whole. It's all about human resource development, and it starts from the school. Entrepreneurship also, same way. We need to train our students to ideate, to look at problems, to find solution to problems, and then we need to fuse two things together. Like, for example, in this age, you cannot do business without leveraging on the platform of technology. You cannot. Hardly there are a few businesses where you can say no to technology and you can still succeed. 99.99%. Today, you cannot do business without leveraging on the platform of technology. Okay, we have very good entrepreneurs in our state. Why are they not able to scale up? Because they are not collaborating with people who have passed from IITs or NITs or from technological background. Today, when you start a business, if I start a business a few years from now, right, and I'm serious about it, I will not do it alone. I will find the next person, and the person who's sitting next to me will not be from the same background as me. He will not be from management. He will not be from entrepreneurship. He will be from technology. We fuse together, and that is how we create better products and services. We have Gerald sitting over here. I don't know whether he's doing that or not, but you have to fuse. Unless you fuse them together, it'll be very difficult for you here hence, because now the world of technology is changing so fast. You should understand how the world is changing now. You cannot do alone. Do with your friend, but your friend should not be from the same background as you. If he is from the same background, kick him out. Find someone else who is from technology. Or if you are from technology background, find someone else who's from a different background. That is how you work together, and that is how you will succeed.
I do agree with technology changing. We have to evolve. And you earlier mentioned about the need to encourage our youth to be critical thinkers. But do you think our system, our education system, encourages or promote critical thinkers?
You want a blunt
Present
answer?
System.
You want a blunt answer?
Yes.
No.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insights. And now I want to direct this next question to Mbak Vicky. So, Mbak Vicky, we understand that there is a lot that needs to be done in order to promote entrepreneurship, not just in our state, but also in the region as a whole. So what kind of strategies do you think an organization or an agency like Prime can take up to help these startups in the state and the region to compete nationally and globally?
First of all, like among all those entrepreneurs that we have, maybe we can just like list few of them, work closely with them, understand them, and support them in any like thing they need, maybe financially or mentoring or market, work on them properly, see what are the criteria, what are the challenges, and what support they are lacking, and also with regards to the revenue. This might at least give us a result on how we can progress in the a strategy like in the coming years, and see like where do we start. So this will be one of the main factors. Like at present we are diverting into that because we need few good entrepreneurs who will be in that stage that will represent Meghalaya as one of the biggest like companies and all.
Has there been any entrepreneurs who were with you and who had done really good in this field and who had been able to compete with other national?
Yes, we have few, And right now, like we have been like getting more entrepreneurs. So now, like we have to diversify it, looking at like various sectors. Maybe we have handicraft, we have from tech background too, we have from food processing, we have from agri-based who are doing well. So right now is for them, the platform is already there. It's just we have to mentor them, guide them on how they can like really become big companies in Meghalaya. So we are looking into that, and hopefully like in the coming years, you'll be seeing like few of our Meghalaya entrepreneurs to be in that biggest company in India.
Thank you so much, sir, for that. And I just remember just something that Dr. Benjamin had mentioned of fusion. I believe because I am also an entrepreneur somewhat. Huh? We will be taking your suggestions positively. I think even Gerald for that matter. Because of the time constraint, we will not be able to continue with our discussion. I know there are several points that we need to discuss, but because of I think it's already exceeding 1 hour, if I'm not mistaken. So we have to come to the end of this discussion. But before closing our session, I would like to take a closing remark from each one of you. We'll start with Bajaral. If there are any message you want to give or any points that you want to highlight, please feel free.
In my opinion, I think like people should not wait for government job, just like we've spoken, and just like Mr. Gupta also has pointed out, to think outside of the box, to be innovative. Another thing is, if you want to become a successful entrepreneur, you have to be disciplined. You have to know what you do, and again, if you do any type of work, also there's no such thing as a small job or a small work. As long as you're surviving, as long as you're doing good, you're contributing to the community. And another aspect is like I always look at working together. We should be united. We shouldn't pull each other's legs. We shouldn't have this tribal mindset. Of course, we are scheduled tribes, but we should not think we should not have that scheduled mind anymore. So these are the few words of these are the messages that I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gupta.
It's a learning process for me also, being with you all. And one of the things which I am carrying forward today is critical thinking. And of course, like my brother has said, families he is concentrating. There is a wonderful concept. I mean, to take care of the family as a community. If we don't build up the community, we don't have businesses. And one more thing which I would like to contribute is we would like to promote internship. All organizations should come forward, give all existing entrepreneurs should give internship to our, let's not start with class 6 students, but maybe college students should be encouraged. The academicians should encourage college students to go for internship. And most importantly, like the collaboration, which Dr. Benjamin is saying, that big organizations or high net worth individuals should come forward to help a group of good entrepreneurs. Maybe organization like Prime can identify, go back to investors. You don't need venture capitalists to come to your region. There are lots of high net worth individuals who can really come up with 10-20 crores of investments. The society should support, respect, and salute entrepreneurs. That's what I would like to say.
Picking up from where Mr. Gupta has said, I'll go back to my original point and say families, fathers and mothers, they need to be supported so that they build better families, so that they can build better communities. And that in turn helps create this ecosystem in which entrepreneurs or any sort of economy can exist in the first place. Another thing that I would really request, I mean, all of us here in our own ways to kind of think about is how do we upskill real hard skills? How do we add value to stuff that we're already doing? As Dr. Benjamin had said earlier, if we're going to do food processing, if we're all going to do chilies and oil, what's the point? Right? If we're all going to do agriculture, what's the point? But keep in mind that in this day and age, there's so many opportunities. We ourselves are buying, for those that can afford it, are buying from online like proper wheat, proper chia seeds or whatever it is you're buying to make your smoothie or whatever it is. All that stuff is coming from outside and we're paying top rupee for that. We could be buying that from here. We could be exporting that from here. And the last thing that I'd like to add is I believe very strongly that in the Northeast, we as Northeastern states, we have to depend on each other economically, for education, for relationships, for security, for whatever it is. Because it's been far too long that the Northeast is kind of like I don't know, some sort of a buffer zone almost. We have the lowest concentration of people, but the highest amount of land, if you look at land versus person, right? So there's a lot of things are happening, but there's also factors at play that keep us in the Northeast very nicely and neatly separated, which we need to start removing those if we're going to grow. And Meghalaya can't grow without Assam. Assam can't grow without states down the line. So in that way forward. Thank you.
The per capita income of Meghalaya is one of the lowest in the country. So as to say, people are poor. Economy is like that. So people don't have purchasing power. When people don't have purchasing power, your business is bound to fail. That is why the market for entrepreneurs of the state, and I might add the entire region, all the 8 states, is not your local market or even the market of northeastern region. The market is rest of India, the main markets of India. The market is export. That is what we should be looking at now. That is why the one good thing which happened recently with this government is in the state, that reverse buyer-seller meet. That is, we need more of that. The local economy does not have purchasing power. We talk entrepreneurship, and if you're going to sell only to locals, it is bound to fail. 8 years, it will fail in 2 years, 3 years. The market is outside, and that is what we have to look at. So I would like to see more of these reverse buyer-seller meets and more collaboration, networking, connections, so that our broomsticks, Sansar, will go outside the state. Okay? Our betel nuts will go outside the state. All the food processing that we are talking about in agriculture, you sell in Shillong, there'll be no buyers. The economy is so low, right? Those products are supposed to be branded properly, packaged properly, presented properly, and sent outside.
So from my side, it's like a message to everyone, like if anyone is doing a business, they can always visit Prime. So we are located in like Shillong and Tura, and even upcoming like in Joy, and we do have a center at Nongport too. So anyone can come in if they need any maybe guidance, like support, or with regards to the business or anything like they feel like okay they need some support with regard from Prime. We are always there for them to guide them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was one enlightening and insightful panel discussion that we've had. We've talked about so many factors, and what Gerald had mentioned, it's very true. He has a message for the young entrepreneurs out there, encouraging them to be disciplined, resilient, and to have patience, and also not to wait just for government jobs. They should be able to encourage one another, and most importantly, the family support. And we also have Mr. Gupta, who spoke about the need to build and encourage community participation. And he also stressed on the need to encourage internships and collaborations with different institutions. And we also have Ba Zorba, who spoke on the need to have a supportive family and the government support in all aspects with no complications and complexities. But Dr. Benjamin spoke a lot about the market availability and the need for our local entrepreneurs to stop looking at only the local markets, but also to go beyond and focus your attention on the global market, and also the importance of networking and connecting. And last but not least, we have Ba Vicky. Ba Vicky, message is more of a clarion call for young entrepreneurs, for aspiring entrepreneurs out there, that if you want any kind of mentor and if you're looking for an institutional support, you're always welcome to Prime Meghalaya. So I once again would like to take this opportunity to thank our panelists, Ba Gerald, Mr. Gupta, Ba Zorba, Dr. Benjamin, and Ba Vicky, for sharing your insights with us and your suggestions. And we do hope that our viewers would take something from this discussion and make good use of them. And as we conclude today's discussion, we understand that entrepreneurship in the state of Meghalaya and the Northeast is full of promises, of course, but it requires government support, different support systems, institutional collaborations, etc., etc. So, on behalf of the organizers, I would like to thank you all again for participating and for sharing your valuable insights with us. So, thank you for your time. Kubleshibun. But nagabenta ki parlo ki jongi ki papet yo forefront media na kawai ka posh kawai pan ngangej pa kani ka jinga kren ka jongi ka badai halor ki ka entrepreneurship lani ka taga lat kamai jak po daga bayang hala ki jongi kijat ki jing kamai ki jong pi ka jinga kren halor kani ka mat pilala ban bat ya ka to ka ni tli ki jing ai jing mut ki jongi panlis ki jongi bat kumjur ki sembo perkat ke pelai ki la sam ha kani ka por ngai kublai ria pi ya ka por ka jong pi kublai shupon